What's going on, guys? Back with another video. I know it's been a while since I make a video, but I feel like this topic that I'm about to talk about is, I wouldn't say it is the reason why, but I've noticed some changes lately, and let's just go ahead and talk about it. So, a couple weeks ago, really it just starts off, I feel like, ADHD starts off from like when you're way younger and stuff like that. And I think it progressively, for me, it's just gotten worse and worse over the years. Kind of to the point where it was kind of like making my life a little bit difficult, especially at work and all this other stuff. So it kind of like led me to wanting to get some ADHD treatment, and just to see what it was like, what it would do to me, how I'd feel, if I liked it, if it was a positive or if there was negatives or what. So anyways, I went ahead and I got tested, and I obviously had ADHD. And then I went and spoke to a doctor after I got tested, and they put me on a prescription, which basically it's Adderall, and started me off on a low dosage. I think it's like 15 milligrams or something, and I feel like it's kind of low, just considering that the quote-unquote the effects kind of wear off pretty quick. But anyways, I think there are some things that I am noticing right off the bat. So like one, like, I feel to do these ranting videos now that I was doing on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I'm like 3 weeks into this. Okay, so I feel like these past 3 weeks, like my social media and my content has like died down to where I'm not like posting, or I don't know. Now, here's the thing. I feel like my mind is no longer racing like it usually is. And the thing is that because of that, I feel like I lost some of my creativeness. Like, I don't know, the urge for me to come out and make these videos, like I don't know, like I don't have a topic to think about or come up with. Like, I feel like I'm really right now having to force myself to come out and make this video, where before I didn't really do that. I thought of a topic and I was like, yeah, let's go do it. Bam. I rant on for like a good bit, and it was like whatever, and I was just talking until I got tired. Now I sort of feel like I almost have to like force myself to do this. Like I don't feel like I was as creative as I used to, I'll tell you that. And then also, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm talking about, like, I'm talking as far as, like, social media aspect, just because, like, this is going to be posted on social media, right? So, like, I don't know. I lost my creativity in this as far as even making, like, reels. I can't. Something about making reels and stuff like that, I don't know. It's hard for me to do it now. Maybe I just lost, like, the not attention, motivation to do them or something. But that's on the social media side, right? Now that's just how I feel about it. I feel a little bit more numb to social media a little bit for some reason. I'm not sure why. I just don't feel as active in it anymore. My mind is like I said, is no longer racing like 24/7. I'm thinking of these random ass thoughts as I'm driving or something. And I'm pretty sure if you've noticed, usually when I wasn't on my medication, I'd be staring at stuff and I'd be like this, just looking at random things passing by. And right now I'm just staring straight ahead. Like, I don't know. It's different, but it does make me feel a little numb sometimes. I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing, but so now let's take it to as far as like, let's just say work, right? Now, at work is where I was really starting to feel like, damn, I need to do something about this, right? Because, like, work was getting really bad. My memory was terrible. They'll tell me something, and they'd be physically talking to me, and I could just not comprehend what they were telling me. I would just not pay attention. And it was affecting my day-to-day as far as, like, being able to hold a conversation with somebody. And if most of you guys know, if you have ADHD, like, it's hard for you to hold a conversation with somebody and to actually stay intrigued or whatever into what they're telling you. It's hard to stay paying attention, right? Now, I feel like I've gotten a little bit better. I feel like I can actually, like, have a conversation with them and, like, have my thought process as far as what they're telling me. Does that, you know what I mean? And the whole, which everybody knows, you can ask my friends, I was really bad about, like, interrupting people while mid-sentence, because that's just me, right? You know, you're finishing people's sentences in your head, so you don't have the patience to wait for them to finish their sentence, so you're finishing it for them, and that to me would drive me nuts, right? I feel like that I still have that a tiny little bit. I do believe it's, like, died down, or it's been controlled a little bit more. But what I don't like is that, it's like I tell you, I feel a little numb. I feel like I lost my creativeness. I feel like I'm just kind of, like, living. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I can't tell if it's something good or if it's something bad. I don't know, guys. It's definitely gonna have a talk with my doctor and see what she has to say about it. I think it's like 50-50. Like, it's 50% a good thing and 50% a bad thing. As far as, like, my social life, without considering social media, like I say, I feel like it helped with, like, the one-on-one conversations. It helped with, like, you know, being able to retain some sort of, like, knowledge of what people are telling you, you know what I mean? So, like, at work, that helps me out. I don't know. But it's very early for me to say, because I'm about 2.5, 3 weeks in this medication, and we're not even sure if this is the right dosage I'm on right now or anything like that. And I don't know. Like I said, maybe somebody else has other input. Maybe somebody else who takes it. Another thing is that I don't have those huge hunger cravings. I don't have those huge, like, hunger cravings that I used to have. I feel like I can actually, like, control my cravings a little bit easier, because I'm not like, so typically, like, if I get bored, I go get something to eat, you know what I mean? And that's not the case anymore. I can actually control, like, you know, not eating, or eating because I'm bored or something. I can actually just fast a little bit further into my morning, but I feel like that's just because of, you know, the type of medication that Adderall is. It's going to crave your hunger. But I already knew that was going to happen, because people usually say they have to lose weight whenever they get on Adderall. But I'm kind of glad that it also controls my thought process of, like, hey, I'm super bored, let me just go and eat. You know what I mean? And that was the case before, and, like, I feel like people always made it seem like, oh, just don't eat, you know what I mean? I'm like, but it's much easier to say that, you know what I mean? Oh, just don't go and eat, you know what I mean? It's all in your head. I mean, to a sense, yes, it's all in our head, but if it's just in my head, like, why can't I control it? You know what I mean? And that's you know, part of the reasons why we take this medication, because it grants us the ability to be able to control some of the stuff that we're normally like can't control. And if you don't have like ADHD, then you probably don't understand a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. And another thing that intrigued me that the doctor said, and it was kind of like, it kind of made me laugh, it kind of made me giggle when she said it. She's like, we were just having our conversation, and she was like, so without telling me, she's like, I bet you do some sort of like adrenaline-based sports or hobbies, right? And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, I like to go snowboarding when it's in the winter, and I do ride a motorcycle, and I do, you know, motorcycle track days and stuff like that. She's like, it's very common for people who have ADHD to do adrenaline-based sports because of the dopamine rush that the sport is giving you. And the thing is that once that sport is no longer giving you the same dopamine rush that it used to give you to calm your ADHD, because technically, if it's, you know, dropping dopamine on us, or serotonin or whatever, it's actually neutralizing our ADHD, which is what Adderall is, right? So once you get bored of the sport, you look on to do something else. And that's why, like, people who take, you know, people who have ADHD, they're always seeking the next hobby, the next sport, something that's always like just working their mind, right? So now I found that very interesting. The other thing that she also like mentioned that kind of caught me off guard, I was like, the reason why, like, you know, people who have like ADHD, they're like super sensitive to like things around, like, or to their surroundings, is like, you have to understand that a lot of the people who are here and have ADHD, they're aware of the surroundings, like a pencil dropping from a desk, or they can hear something like and focus on what that noise is. Meanwhile, you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, and that noise in the background is the reason why you can't focus on that person. Is because centuries ago, a long time ago, caveman days or whatever, she's like, our natural instinct was to react to a lot of the noises and to be like hyper aware of our surroundings, because it was it was either, you know, if you didn't pay attention to the things around you would die. You know what I mean? And the way she would say, she's like, we're no longer fighting saber-toothed tigers and all this other stuff. And the thing is that a lot of the people who still have ADHD still have that, I wouldn't even say the skill, it still has like that gene or what, I don't know how to explain it, but we still have that. Like, we still have our survival instinct, and basically that's what ADHD is. It's our survival instinct. It's the ability for us to hyperthink on multiple things, and like hyper like, you know, be reactive to our surroundings and stuff like that. And I never thought about it that way until she put it into that perspective, and I was like, fuck, you know, maybe that kind of has a point, you know what I mean? And then right after that, she brought up the whole about the adrenaline-based sports and stuff like that. So it was kind of weird. And then she explained to me as well, like, exactly what the medication does, like Adderall. So basically what it does is that it blocks like the receptor from it blocks the receptor that gives us a signal in our brain. Basically it's a blocker. So what it does is, like, if you hear something, your brain automatically wants to go and like and just focus on it. But what Adderall is doing is that it's bridging it between it, and it's blocking it, right? So that explains the numbness that I'm feeling, because I'm used to always having all this feedback around me, and people talking, and, you know, noises and everything, and which is kind of interesting, because when I went to the track, what was it, for Carolina Motorsports Park, and this was still before I was taking Adderall. I felt like a little bit more instinctive into my bike. Does that, I don't know, how do I explain this? I felt a little bit more like adrenaline rushed being on my bike on the track. And then maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was because it was my first track day or something. I don't know, not my first track day, but yeah. And I noticed that now that I've been taking the medication, what I noticed right away is that I think a little bit more safely when I was on the track. Like, it wouldn't let me push my limits like I wanted it to. So I don't know if maybe like Adderall was also blocking some sort of like of my ability of like body releasing adrenaline or something. So I noticed that right away too, because I did a little tally like the following weekend, and that week between no, I wasn't on it on Little Tally, but from Little Tally to, I'm gonna stop right here because it's pretty cool. So from like Little Tally to Roebling, I started the medication. That's when I noticed it right away. I noticed that at Roebling, and I was like, huh, like I feel like something's kind of like holding me back a little bit. And I think it's because what I'm telling you about, like maybe the Adderall is not letting me have an adrenaline rush or something. And this is just me ranting, right? Like maybe this is not true, but I don't know, guys. Tell me what your experience is if you're on ADHD treatment. I say ADHD treatment. I'm not gonna just say Adderall. You know what I mean? Because everybody's on different types of ADHD medications. Just chat. Put in the comments like, what do you feel? How do you feel? What are your pros and your cons if you started taking it, and when do you prefer to be off of it? Do you prefer to be on it? I feel like I for the past 3 weeks now, I know I can. Maybe there's times where I don't need it, and then there's times where I want to take it. So I think I'll be able to throttle myself a little bit more, which is kind of what I'm probably gonna start doing. But I've been ranting around for 17 minutes now, guys. I drove around all town, and basically hit up the comments, guys. Let me know, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Luis S1K out.